Suntem în continuare aici la HR Summit, continuăm seria de interviuri realizate în cadrul conferinței cu speaker care deja au avut prezentări. Vorbim cu Daniel Loewa, cel care este HR manager aici la Mercedes Benz Romania, and we're going to switch to English. I hope you didn't get scared. We're going to go through in Romanian.
It would not get me very far, but I would be able to say a few things in Romanian as well.
All right, so your presentation was focused a lot on transformation. How can you do it? Also, how can you bring globally into locally? How can you do that? Because I've seen that you have a lot of people, a lot of like a huge team. If you think about it, there were three numbers there: 300, 3,000, and 300,000.
So my scope is 300. My scope is 300.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, we have to take what the corporate platform gives us and we have to implement that. On the other hand, it has to fit to what is the situation locally. It has to fit to the people, has to fit to the requirements, has to fit to the, let's say, resources that we have. So it's a bit breaking things down into realistic chunks that can be then digestible for the organization.
What you said something is that when a transformation doesn't take place, 70% of the situations are because of the people. How can you change this 70%? Or what are you trying to do as a company to work on this and improve the percentage?
I think it's a lot about being in touch with the people that are in this transformation processes in different roles. The leverage coming from managers is truly very high, so one of the focus that we have is be in discussion with managers about their shift in the role, about their new, let's say, picture of how to lead a team, how to be successful as a leader. And that's also the, let's say, the big shift in perception there, because coming from a, let's say, very traditional view of a role as a manager, coming to something where we offer new ways of seeing things, new way of being successful is, let's say, a marathon, not a sprint. So we have to do this in a long-term approach, have to try it, have to show that it works, have to let them be successful, let them maybe even fail, and then discuss about failure without blaming them. So these are the things that happen in, let's say, iterative loops.
Also, you have mentioned one thing that I liked a lot. You said that if you want to change something, change doesn't come through emails or through memos, but it comes through relationship. Are you preaching this, of course, into the company? Are people accepting this way of doing the things? You also said about switching roles or being, I don't know, a normal employee. I'm saying like a team member, being in meetings with the manager or even the CEO of the company. How do you do things so the people accept your new way of doing it?
We offer different opportunities to get engaged. So it's nothing comes with the must behind that with the exclamation mark. So we see that there is a certain percentage of employees making use of these offers, going into a leadership shadowing, going into these dialogue situations, offering a lecture in the digital academy or participating as a learner. So all these are offers. And we are observing who is taking part, and we are not punishing those that are not taking part. We are rather than looking at those that do want to engage, that are able to somehow go with us a step further, and rather take them a step further throughout other offers and other possibilities to grow and to engage.
When did you start this process and how is it going? Of course, we don't want like numbers from like inside the company, but we want to understand if we are trying also, that Romanian employees are trying to get international ourselves. It's not only about the development of the leadership, it's also about the development of each of us.
So the whole organization Daimler started at some point in 2016 with this process. So we are looking back already to 3 years, and I can say it still feels like we are in an early stage. Yeah, and I think this feeling is okay to have like a beginner's mind to say let's try things and to keep going. And it is a matter of patience. Yeah, it's not. We can have a few small quick wins that look good on a PowerPoint slide, but if it comes to sustainable implementation of a new mindset, of a shift in role of managers and employees, that takes time. I would actually even say we are speaking of a whole generation overall, although of course this is not now putting it in the long-term result and wait and see. But there is a lot of patience in the system, so there is a management around us that says we have to continue to do things, we have to push things forward. It's not always about speed, it's rather about having a direction, seeing progress, and also accepting failure, and this happens too. So there are approaches where we just completely fail because of maybe intercultural challenges. Maybe people are not ready for certain opportunities yet, and that's totally okay. And then it's about then reflecting on that and find a new approach.
Are also people open to fail? Because somehow when we go through school and everything, everybody's teaching us to be like a winner, everybody's teaching us to try to make the best out of it and maybe not talk about all failures. Are people also starting to learn about, you know, it's fine to fail, you just learn, it's another step?
Starting to is, I think, the best way to say it. Yeah, so there is a term that we use, is mistake culture. Basically, how do we deal with mistakes? You know, there is an easy way of blaming someone, easy way of finding somebody who's guilty of something. It's a lot harder to make this an opportunity to understand what went wrong. How can we avoid that? How can we actually avoid this somehow together? It's not that we like mistakes, but I think if we get to a point where we accept that it's an opportunity to make things better, that's great. But that's also in an early stage. So it also fits to what we said earlier, that the maybe classical role understanding of a manager is a bit different.
For example, you mentioned Digital Academy and you said that some of the employees are just offering, they know how to do something, they're offering to do it, and like this you are just discovering their skills. Did you have, I don't know, any role shift or something like this coming after this type of presentation or getting involved in the Digital Academy?
What I see is that's maybe not so much linked to the rational target, the digital transformation. It's rather an emotional success. People that go into this process, that speak in front of a group, that get then the recognition by a group of, let's say, 15 people in the room that say, wow, thank you for that, I didn't know about that, I learned something. That's very good. So I observe that the people speaking are actually benefiting the most. And yeah, and they feel, they get a direct feedback about this. We do have a reward system connected to that, but I realized that actually the rewards were not the motivator here, and that's the good part. Yeah, so it's great to see that there are intrinsic motivations around for the speakers, and they come grown out of each and every session that we have there, and that's very, very fun to watch.
All right, thank you very much for your interview. Also, good luck in your project.
Thank you very much too.
Așadar, încheiem un alt episod al acestor interviuri. Urmează un alt episod cu un alt speaker din cadrul HR Summit. Dacă v-a plăcut conținutul acestui interviu, urmăriți-ne pe allaboutjobs.ro sau pe canalul nostru de YouTube și rămâneți, desigur, în comunitatea HR Summit.